Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone, wherever you might be around this great world of ours. It is Wednesday, March 25th, and I'm Kate Richburg, and welcome to Creative Connections with Kate. Here we are, you guys. Another day, another project. Well, hopefully everybody is doing well. Let's make sure that I can see all of you all on my social media before I bring anything up here. Bear with me here just a second here while I do that and make sure I can see you guys over on I can see you all on our YouTube feed. Let's make sure that Facebook is not far behind. So if you're seeing me on Facebook, give me some comments and some love here so I can see what you're doing. And there we are. Great. I can see you. Perfect. Alrighty. I think we're all set to go. And here I am in 3, 2, and 1. Great to have everybody here. Looks like Janice is already up and running over on the YouTube feed, and looks like Gita is up and running over on our Facebook feed. So good morning to everyone. I can see everyone saying good morning over there, and Art, good morning to you. I'll tell Chris that you said hello. It's great to have you. And I'm with my morning coffee. Here we are, getting through March. March is almost over. It's the 25th. So who knew? We're getting through there, slowly but surely. Perseverance will win the day. Everyone's feeling good here. We're doing fine. Hanging in there, getting your orders out slowly but surely. And as always, we really appreciate your support of our small business. It is keeping the doors open and the lights on. So from the whole team here at beadshop.com, we want to thank you so much, as always, for your support. So it looks like, yes, we've got so many people coming in. It's great. It's great to have you guys all here. You know, this sheltering in place and social distancing, you know, it's starting, I don't know, for me, maybe, it's starting to become a little bit easier, I guess. We are falling into a routine, you know, it's kind of like we know what we have to do to get through this, and good days are coming. I want you guys to just hang in there. It was great to see on the Bead Table, which is our private Facebook group. If you're not a member of the private Facebook group called the Bead Table over on Facebook, you can go over, answer a few questions, and Emily is doing all of the stuff over there for me right now while we're super busy, and so she will be glad to welcome you over. But just make sure that you do answer those questions and stuff so Emily can sure you in. We want to make sure that you're a real person when we let you in the group. But it's great. People are, we had a fun thread last night about what people were doing other than beading to pass their time. So that was a lot of fun. People are also being very prolific with their beads, so it's great to see all of the projects and stuff that are going on there. So that's what I've got this morning, drinking my coffee, settling in, and I want to show you what I have on my table in front of me. So yesterday, let me move this one over here so you guys can see this. Here we go. Yesterday, we worked on this Chinese button knot, okay? And the Chinese button knot was a lot of fun. It was one that I really love making. And I've done a couple of different broadcasts with it. I've done a couple of free tip Fridays with it. One of our buddies, Janice Kang, who's one of our devoted customers and YouTube Facebook Live and YouTube Live watchers, posted in the group a really great bracelet that she made for her husband that features it. So I linked the Free Tip Friday episode over there, where I originally did the button knot with a braid, and it's really cool. It's a really cool piece that she made. So that's over there, and you can find it. And I see Janice waving over there on the Facebook feed, which is great. Good to see you, Ms. Kang. I know that you're just down the road here from us, so it's great to see you. So let me. Whoops, I lost my. There we go. I've been clicking around. Sorry, I've been clicking around a little too much now, and let me see if I can get, let me get this minimized. There we go. I've got the chat back. Sorry about that. Sometimes, I'm my own director here as well, so sometimes things go off the rails a little bit. So, yesterday, if you saw this Chinese button knot, and if you haven't, go and practice. Some of you guys mastered it already, which is awesome, and you posted your results, which was great to see. So I'm going to take this project a little bit further. You know that I still have a wire project simmering and a peyote stitch ring project simmering, so don't worry, we'll get back to those, but I'm kind of digging this. This part right now. So I'm just gonna go with what what I like to do. And today I think it means the soothing rhythm of doing some laddering with this wrap bracelet. So what I've got here is my beadboard, my deep dish tray here. And I have a pad on the inside, and you can see I'm going to tighten this up a little bit so you guys can see what's going on. So you can see I think this is 2 millimeter, but you might want to use 1.5 or, whatever you like. You can also use surfer cord would work with this if leather isn't your jam, whatever works for you. And I just did the Chinese button knot, and then it's kind of floating around here on this I Ching coin. I think I like the looseness of this, so it has a little bit of movement, especially if this is going to be a bracelet. Though I might take up just very quickly just a hair of that slack. And if you need help doing that, I wanted to show you. I didn't show you this yesterday when I was doing this. You can use the awl. You're beading awl to kind of help you grab those little turns in the knot to help you tighten it up. And there you go. I think that's a little bit better. It's still loose, but it's not so visually loose. Okay, so the amount of cord I knew you were going to ask, so let me measure it out for you real quick. It is, it's about 60 inches is what I use, plus maybe a little, whoops, sorry, I dropped it. Come back here, cord. There we go. You might think that our broadcast room is kind of big, but it's actually really teeny, so it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to even bend down behind the desk. So we've got this guy. Okay, so it's about 60 inches plus a little bit more for the knot. Okay, but you can always add thread or cord or take it away. So this is my favorite color. Well, I love all of our cords that we carry on beadshop.com, but this is our distressed gray. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in, and let me get a little wider so you guys get a better bird's eye view of what's going on here. And I'm going to connect this to my board using one of our other favorite tools, our clampers, which are right here, and we're gonna clamp this down just like so. And we're here like this, and I'm just going to connect my my cord on the other side. So see, here we go. Here's this. I'm just gonna kind of put I'm gonna put a clamper over it. But you can use a little piece of leather or something to kind of protect your clamp from marking your leather, okay? So I do a lot of infinity stitch when I work with ladder bracelets because I like them. I like infinity. I feel like it's easy to use, it's fast for me. But today I'm going to use traditional laddering. I know there's a collective gasp coming from everyone, right? Kate's going to do traditional laddering. But I'm going to give you my kind of spin on it here. Let me get a little tighter so you guys can see. I'm going to use fine Ceylon. You can use fine. You can use tough cord. You can use, I don't know, if your beads were large enough, even 0.4 Chinese knotting cord. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can use. But I'm using this in sable because I have it here, and that's what I was going to use. But I'm going to make, because I can't leave well enough alone, this little portion when I start, I'm going to make it kind of, I don't know, kind of decorative. So we'll see what happens. Again, you guys, this is designing on the fly. I have not thought about this all that much because I've got a lot of other things to think about. So it's kind of fun with these broadcasts to kind of make it up. Your board, your design board, at least my design board, is about 14 inches long. So I've done 3 times that 14-inch length, which is here. And so this gives me kind of enough thread to deal with. Now, what I'm also going to do, let me get this a little bit wider so you can see it for the moment. I need to grab another baggie because I am going to use some beads that might be a little small, and I don't want to use needles on the end. And you guys have seen me do this before, but I'm going to do it again because I feel like it bears repeating. That I'm going to make some little self needles on the end of my Ceylon here. And can you see I put, this is just that little spool of Irish wax linen. I'm using that to kind of hold my cord up from my board. And I am using here sable, I think is what I'm using. But use whatever color you like. Let's hope that there's still some glue left in this one. Yeah, there's just enough to get a little bit of glue right out of there. So I'm going to put this glue on my baggie, okay? And I'm going to make some needles on the end. And this is sable in fine, okay? Fine sable is the color. And I'm just going to maybe 1 inch to 1.5 inches. I've got a lot to ladder, so I want to just fold over my little baggie with the zap, and I'm going to pull it through, kind of letting the bag squeegee the glue off the end, and I'm going to kind of set it aside so it doesn't stick to anything like my hand or the board. I'm going to open this back up because I still have glue in here. I'm going to lay it down, close it, kind of rub that glue in a little bit, and just kind of let it go right in here, just like so, to kind of squeegee it out. Okay? Done and done. And so, so that's done. So those needles are on there. So the zap, what it does, and I'm going to switch this out. This is a little low. I'm going to put my sable little spool underneath there, so it's a little bit higher, right? I've got a little bit. So I've got this. I'm going to get in a little tighter, and I'm going to show you how I start this. So the zap glue ends, my needle ends, are already stiffened. They've already kind of dried. The zap dries pretty quickly. And I'm going to find the center of my thread here, okay? And I'm going to come in and I'm just going to start, I'm going to add my thread for my eventual laddering. So I'm going to start by just doing our flat macrame knot. You've seen me do this 1,000 times if you've watched us on the live feeds before. If not, if you go over to our website, then you jump in to either our skill builders, I want to say, or go onto our YouTube and there's a playlist for all of those basics. And if you missed the Chinese button knot, go to the playlist on YouTube of Kate's Creative Connections, and it was yesterday's broadcast on March 24th. So you'll find it there. Okay. So and you can go, you can do it over and over and over. But just to start with the macrame flat knot, right, I've made my loop, my P, or this Q rather, coming underneath, the thread comes underneath and above my leather. Now the tail of that Q goes over the thread, under the leather, and out through the loop, and we tighten. And that is 1/2. I'm going to get in really tight, 1/2 of the macrame flat knot. Okay, so now I'm going to do the second side here, and we're going to do the P side, and I'm going to go here with my loop, and I go over the thread, under the leather, and see how it wants to loosen like that. It even went out of frame, so don't worry, that sometimes happens. So you have to kind of be wily with it. You have to be ready. So tighten that first stitch again and kind of maybe hold it there, and you get kind of your other thread and you get it up there and tighten it down. And once you have, like anything else, a few of these stitches created, everything is going to sit really nicely. Okay, so of course, me being me, I have to embellish this a little bit. I don't want to go exactly right into my laddering quite yet. So there's that. So I'm going to add, this is a nod to Brittany, and I have this little jar, or this little bowl. You know, I've been working on the tornado earrings, peyote stitch, all of this. So I still have this bowl of these kind of random beads that are still kind of working out for me color-wise, right? So if I'm going to string some beads, let's go Bollywood for just a short little period to add a little bit of prettiness right here at the top, right? So I'm going to kind of push that macrame up just a little so it's nice and even. And now I'm going to use my thread snips, and I'm going to snip at an angle there and snip at an angle here. Okay, so it's easy to put my beads on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm only going to string on one side. I'm going to string this on the left side. No, I lied to you, because my loop, the loop I'm going to make, is going to be on my right side. So I'm going to string these on my right. And I'm going to do traditional laddering today. I know that is shocking to you all, but why not, right? Let's use these 11/0. They're super tiny. Will they fit on the fine? They might be too tiny for me, especially this morning early. No, that one goes on. That's good. Do I have more of these? Where did my little blue? I have these guys. Did I carry around my blue? I'll have to find it. My blue beads. Are they under here? No. Oh well. I probably put them in my pocket as I was walking around. I might have enough to use here. Well, I will have enough to use here because I'm not going to go that far. So I'm going to alternate. I'm going to use, these are the cubes. I think this is the 2006, the matte metallic bronze, I think. And I think these 11/aughts are the Duracoat eucalyptus in the 11/aught. I can't believe I can't see that. I've got the other tubes here, but I don't have the 11/aught. But that's okay. I have enough in this dish, I think, because I'm not going to put that many on here. So what have I got so far? Let's see. I've got 2 of the cubes, 2 of the 11s, 2 cubes, 2 11s, 2 cubes. Let me put on 2 more 11s. Okay. So this one and this one. So I'm only putting them on one side because I want to, and I'm also going to put a stopper bead on. I'm going to use one of these padres that I had. Okay, like here and here, and that's my stopper. Okay, so they don't fall off. All right, yeah, Kim, it's probably on the floor. I'll find it after the broadcast, I'm sure. It'll be sitting right in front of me. Okay, so let me widen this up so you guys can see this. I'm putting my beads only on one side because I want them to kind of offset each other as I'm doing this, okay? And I want the bead, if you'll notice, it's kind of hard to see. Let me put this back in so you can see this. You can tell which side your loop is going to go on. I want to be real tight here so you guys can see it. Whoops, let me get it into frame there. There we go. See how my knot, you can see this little kind of what I call the scallop. That's the side that I make my loop with, okay? And the scallop goes back and forth. It'll go from this side to this side to this side. So every time I make a loop, I'm going to travel a bead up into that loop so it's captured. And this is that Bollywood style where we do our Bollywood bracelets. Really fast and easy and fun project. So I'm going to just push up my cube and then forget it's there. Make the loop, pull it through, and tighten. Okay? And the cool thing about having that cube there is that it also spreads the thread out a little bit and reveals a little bit of the leather underneath. So I'm going to do the same thing over there. Push the bead up, bring it under, tighten it, and then these two will be in the knot, ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to do now 2, I think, just 2 in between, 2 plain ones. There's 1 knot, there's 2. Let me see how that looks. I think that's good. And my beads are ending up on my left again, which is correct. I'm only adding the bead in the loop here, so that's 2. So I'm going to bring that loop in, bring that 11/aught up. And you can see with the 11/aught, it'll leave less room, less leather exposed. Now my beads are over on the left, so I'll bring this one up and make my loop and tighten it down. My thread is a little persnickety today, right? It doesn't want to stay knotted very well. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell that thread who's boss, and I'm just going to slightly wax it, and I think that might make a difference, I think. Okay, now the beads that I'm doing kind of this Bollywood kind of style with, now I'm going to go 2 more plain knots, 1 and 2. It could be anything, right? I'm just using what I have here on my board because I'm just trying to kind of work in a color theme, right? And so I have this palette here on my board working already, so I'm not, I don't have to rush around and find beads for the new project. I am using Ceylon. I'm using Ceylon in fine, which is the middle size that we carry. Regular is a little bit bigger, and micro is a little bit smaller. Okay, so and there's that. Now I'm ready for my 2 more. And so if you want something a little bit heavier, but I figured if I had to go through these seed beads, fine would probably be the right answer. Okay, and it looks like it is. You could also use tough cord. You could use tough cord 1 would work, I think, with these seed beads. If you're not familiar with all of our threads, go to the learning section on our website and download the Stitcheonary. It gives a comparison of all of the different threads that we carry, kind of in relationship to each other. It's a really great learning tool if you don't have it already. So can you see I've made, I just have 2 more sets to do. This length is, and I'm gonna get a little closer so you guys can see it, but that's a little over 1 inch that I've macrameed so far. So let me get in a little tighter. And see how those moody blue, or the eucalyptus rather, how they pick up the blue in that ancient I Ching coin, which I like a lot. So let's do this a little bit faster. Let's get this going. The cubes, I have not done this kind of Bollywood stitch or the flat beaded knot with these little 1.8 millimeter cubes. And let me tell you, I like it a lot. I'll tell you what. And 1 more over here. There we go. And now with the final seed beads. Now I've kind of used a lot of my thread here, so I have a decision to make. Do I add more thread at this point? And I'll zoom out so you can see how much thread I've got left. Or do I not worry about it, add it later, because I may want to change this up anyway, right? So let me just, come on, thread is, why are you giving me sass today? Let me tighten that side and come in and tighten this side. There we go. And then I want to finish with a few just little plain knots like I did here. Okay, and so let's go ahead and knot it up. Make it match. I think that was, I don't know, 4. Let's see what 4 looks like. Might have been 6. I can't remember. And see, that wax is helping. It's helping it stick a little bit nicer. And again, we really appreciate, especially right now, all of your likes and your shares and your comments and your thumbs up. It really helps kind of elevate, I guess, our exposure here in the social media world. And right now, we can certainly use all the help that we can get in these kind of trying times, right? That we are going through. So we really appreciate all of your orders and support. So see here, I'm going to put that Post-it note behind it so you guys can really see it. Okay, and let me get a little tighter so you can see what I've done here. Okay, so I think I'm just going to continue to ladder, I guess. Why not, right? I'll tell you how much I have left. Let me see. And let me do this. Let me measure and see how much I have. Because I may not ladder that much anyway on this before I switch. So I've got about a foot on each side, okay? Not the optimum. So maybe when I started this, maybe 4 board lengths might have been better than 3, but whatever, who cares? I want a little bit of a transition here though before I start to ladder, maybe, I don't know. And remember, I have these circles of bronze that were sitting here from my previous project. So let me see if they'll fit through this leather and see how they look. Maybe I'll just put 2. Okay, I don't know. We'll see. Here, and we'll put this one on over here. Okay. So there we go. That looks pretty good, I think. I'm going to just leave them there. And I'm going to bring my, this is also, so let me tell you, this is also a good place if I wanted to add thread. Okay, so let me just add thread just for fun so you can see me do it. And I'm going to go 4 lengths. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And I'm going to give it that little bit of a waxing, right? I'm pulling this through with my wax cord, right? And I saw Virginia mention, which is great, please do subscribe our bead shop to our beadshop.com YouTube channel. That way you'll always be notified when we're on, which is great. And do stay tuned, like for our newsletters and stuff. I know that some of you who live in lands farther away, you know, we do run specials and things like that, which sometimes is helpful. I know that, you know, we're thinking about money and trying to be as you know, they're uncertain times, so we want to make sure that we are all taken care of. But again, we do appreciate your support here for beadshop.com, because without your support, we would not be here at all, right? So we really appreciate it. Let me get in a little tighter here, okay? And let me show you how I'd add that. So I've just come in and I'm just going to macrame over the top of this, right? And so it doesn't really matter which side I start on, but I'm going to start on the side that has that little scallop with the Q side, and I'm going to macrame all 4 pieces in there. I'm going to start in, where's my little cord to lift this? There we go. I'm going to just come in and macrame it. These little circles of bronze will kind of hold, you know, will kind of cover this. Now I'm going to add a little bit of glue. Cookie, you're so funny. I'm so glad you think your bracelet is looking good. That's so funny. Cookie put it on I think she put it on the group yesterday or whatever. She was like, you know, just so you know, that bracelet can come over to me. Well, this one actually might stay with me. I'm kind of digging it. See how I'm putting in a little bit of, I'm putting in Zap. I actually probably should have put in hypo cement instead, but you know, whatever. It's what I had right here. And again, it's going to be covered. So I'm going to macrame very quickly before that Zap sets up. I'm going to macrame very quickly over the top of that to hold everything into place. And the 2 strands that I was originally macrameing with are getting caught up in here, so nothing's going to happen. Okay, so there we have it, and I've done about 3 stitches, and I'm going to add 1 more circle of bronze because I think the 3 will look nice. Okay, and I'm going to get my thread burner, which I think I got over here. I think it's here, the one that says Kate on it, so no one ever steals it. I'm going to come in now and burn away, singe away the extra threads. You could also clip them if you wanted to. I hope I got the right one. Yeah, I did. Nothing like doing all this work and then singeing away the wrong thread, right? Just come in, burn it away. You can clip it though, of course, as well. And then I'll tie one more knot. Well, I'll slide this up and then I'll tie one more knot because I need to tighten everything down. So there we go, and I'm gonna slide. I hope these strands and these circles of bronze cover all of that. We'll see, because again, flying by the seat of my pants here. Okay. There we go. And let me put this through. And there we go. Okay. Now, as I pull all of these tight, I should be able to get these little circles of bronze up there. There we go. There's one. There's two. And there's three. Okay. So it kind of covers the connection. I don't want them to be too high up there. I don't want them to run into. There we go. Let me make the camera a little wider. And you guys can see what I've got. So now I'm gonna add just a little bit more macrame here, and I like these. They're a little tight. I wanted them maybe to float around a little bit. So what I could have done if I wanted them to float a little bit more is maybe not macrame under the leather or over the leather and slide them over it. But that looks good. There we go. I just had to arrange them a little bit. I like the way that looks. Okay. So now I'm going to macrame just a touch more, and then we'll begin our laddering. And then after that, I'm going to put this aside to be continued, because I got to get cracking on getting some of those orders out. So there's that. Here's this. And I'm just going to come in, doesn't matter what side I start on, but I've been starting on this side, the piece side, so I'm going to start on there. And I'm just going to do this at Kate speed. You guys have seen me do this part, so let me get this in there. And maybe one more. So I think what I'm going to start with, when you ladder, you want to start kind of tapering up from a short, from a small space to a wider space. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to ladder with these padres because they're here, and why not, right? So I'm going to come in, I'm going to open up I'm going to get another spool of thread here, just so it kind of opens up my little, you can see that right there. So it kind of spreads out my cords. And what I'm going to do here, let me make sure this is tight. It's turning a little bit, which I don't like. There we go. I'm going to go over I'm going to first put my bead in. So I'm going to go under my thread, which is over the cord, up through the center and through the bead. Same thing on this side. What I do on one side, I need to do on the second. The first one is always as usual, a little wonky, and I did not zap glue these ends because of time. What I would go back and do to make sure that everything is nice and neat. So there we go. So see how that just comes right in there. Now I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to go over the thread, under, up like this, and through the bead. Let me see if I can get it through. If I can't, I can grab a needle and get it in. Let me do that. If these were zapped, I wouldn't have an issue, but I think I have a collapsible or a flexible eye needle is really what I want here. This is what happens when you're going on the fly. Though a flexible eye might work. Let's see. The eye is a little bit bigger, but I have one here. Let me see if I can make it happen. Unless I have one. Do I have one in my little berry from? Nope, from Emily. No. So let me just go ahead and put a needle on the end of this. If there's a will, there's a way, right? There we go. And Ramona asked the question, would you turn that over when you start laddering? Because when you macrame, it's generally on the wrong side. No, this is on the right side for me. I mean, it really looks about the same on both sides. So no, I would still call this the front, but that's what works for me. Yep, there we go. See how that needle just helped me get it through. And I'm not going to need a needle after this, but if that's one side, I've done it on one side, and I'm going to pull that tight. I'm going to put the needle on the other end. Let me get the needle off, and I'm going to go under the leather. Right, can you see that? Under. I'm going to go up through the center and then through the bead. Now these padres have a pretty big hole, so let me see if I can get it through there. Sometimes you just have to will it through. There we go. There, and try not to split your thread, so you might have to loosen it up just a little bit as you're pushing this through. See, I split that thread, so I want to make sure that I don't. There we go. That's through. Okay, so now I have to kind of neaten all of this up because it looks like a big old mess here. There we go. And I used, this needle I used was the collapsible eye, and the collapsible eye has a nice big eye. It's a collapsible eye wire needle, and it seems to work. I was looking for a flexible eye needle because the eye is smaller, but this worked out actually just fine. So see how I'm going to just kind of neaten everything up, make sure that my threads are nice and neat, and this one actually needed to end up going under, so let me get that in the correct position so that the two sides match. Let me get in a little bit tighter so you can see it. Okay, so there we go. So now maybe I'll add, though I kind of like this single, right? I think it works out, so maybe I'll just do these single ones for a while. So now I'm going to go over, actually it needs to come out this way, sorry. My thread needs to be over the top, like this. Because the mantra is over, up, through the center, through the center, and through the bead. Okay, and see how this is fraying already. So when I be doing this, and when I stop, I will stop and put some zap on the ends. So over, up, and through, over the cord, up through the center, and through the whole of the bead. Okay, and tighten it so that it sits there just perfectly. Okay, so again, let me do it one more time. You want a little bit of air. You want a little bit of air in that triangle that's here. This will keep this bead from popping up. Also, going through twice keeps it from popping up. And so now with my threads, I go over, up through the middle, and through my beads. Okay, and I'll just keep going with this until I like the looks of it. I'm going to measure to see where I am here, because if this were going to be a multiple wrap bracelet, which I think it will be, I might want this to be kind of in the center part of my wrist. I don't know. We'll see. Just continue laddering until you're done. I'm going to do one last one. See, so how it just, once you kind of have it established, again, just make sure that your tension is even. That's what we're looking for here. That one needs to go up there a little bit. And if you need to pull it a little bit tighter, use your awl to kind of pull everything in to kind of help you tighten. There we go. That little loose place just tightened up, which was good. An awl is a really good essential to have in your toolkit. So one last one. Over the thread, under, the leather, so over, up through that, through that opening, and now through the beads. Over, up, and through. And the padres have kind of a varying degree of size a little bit. Can you see that in color like that? So it doesn't matter. This part might have a little bit of a rustic feel to it, but that's okay. Whoops, I pulled that one out. Over, up, and through the bead. Okay, like so. And again, zap, glue your ends. I'll tell you, your life will be a lot easier. Okay, and pull everything so it's tight. So that's what we've got so far. So let me measure to see where we are right now. So let me get my tape measure. From the end of the coin to about this laddering is going to be, right now it's close to 4.5 inches. Okay, so what I would do is, I want this portion, if it goes around my wrist, I'll ladder to maybe a little past the 6 inches. Okay, so I'll try and get that one done, and then tomorrow we'll see what's going to happen next. I have no idea. But what we've got so far, just to recap everything, is we have the I Ching coin here, and I used the 2 millimeter, but It's a little, I mean, I think it's fine. You could ramp it down to the 1.5 millimeter in the distressed gray, which is good. Then I did a little bit of Bollywood style macrame with the cube and the 11-aught going here. I had the circle of bronze left over from those projects earlier this week, so I slid those on with just some plain macrame underneath. That's where I changed up my thread, okay? And then now I'm just starting to do traditional laddering over, up, and through the beads. And I'm going to do this until my bracelet from here, from door to door, up here, the I Ching coin, down to where the laddering ends. It's going to be about 6 inches, about 6.5 inches, okay? And Joanne's asking me, what will I use at the other end, a hook? Joanne, I have no idea. Don't know. Couldn't tell you. I don't even know what's going to happen after I finish this laddering section. But stay tuned, because we'll work through this together. Okay, so here this is. I'm going to take a photo of it for Drea so she can have it for the newsletter. I'm going to do that now, even while I'm on air, so I don't forget. So there, that is the photo you see in the newsletter will be this exact one. Let me move the needle, that doesn't look so pretty. This exact, maybe I'll put this there too. There we go, the Padres, perfect. It'll be this exact one that I've taken right now. Boom, there it is. And tomorrow we'll see what we see. I think it'll be kind of a fun continuing saga. I also want to get back to the wire piece. I have not forgotten that piece for you guys. It's still ruminating, and I think I know what I'm going to do with that other one. But you know, I think it's really important when you are working on being creative and trying to figure out, you know, especially if you're working like on a jewelry line or something like that, having all of the beads out that you're going to use and kind of going back and forth, testing different things and stuff like that. You can you'll start your collection will start to emerge whether you like it or not, right? So the Padres, I saw someone asking about the Padres. These are about equivalent to about a 6-aught bead ish, right? But they're much more irregular, and I love them. I just love the way they look. So that's what I've got right here. You can see, I'm going to show you this mess while I was trying to find the needles. Do you see that mess over there? Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. So Linda's asking, can I take photos of the button knot steps for episode notes? You know what, Linda? I'm sorry, I can't right now. That's just not a possibility. But watch the video. Watch it over and over, because I really break it down into the steps. Maybe someday I'll do a written tutorial on it, but for now we're just on a skeleton crew, so I'm sorry to say no to that, but maybe someday I will get to it. But I'll tell you, the video, if I do say so myself, is pretty good. So watch it and grab some cord and try and follow what I do, and you'll get it. I know you will eventually. Okay, so that's it. That's what I've got for you for today. I'm gonna finish my coffee and get cracking. We've got work to do. So everybody, stay safe, stay sane. It's Wednesday, March 25th. We're getting through March. April will be here soon, and sunnier days and warmer weather and all of those things are coming. So between when I see you now and when I see you tomorrow, I want you to be creative. Think of, even if you can't get your hands on your beads, kind of start thinking about your beads, start thinking about patterns you might like to make. Do some things at home that are a soothing activity, And remember, practice your social distancing. This is not the time to go out and commingle. Now is the time to hunker down so we can all get through this together, okay? Which is what we are doing here, hunkering down. Again, thank you so much for your support. If your support was not here, we would not be able to continue, okay? So thank you, thank you, thank you. You can go over to beadshop.com for information on the project and the products from this broadcast. All of the products that I'm doing are sold right over on beadshop.com. You can sign up for our newsletters for all of the latest news, and I will tell you all that are thanking Chris as well. I'll tell him. It'll bring a smile to his face. So, all right, my darling darlings, I'll see you tomorrow. Hang in there. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.